Hello everyone, welcome to our Instagram Live. My name is Dom Hall and I'm the ASUN Student Body President, and thank you for joining us today and sticking up with us with these technical difficulties. We really appreciate it. So the focus of this Instagram Live today is to be here with President Sandoval and Vice President of Student Services, Dr. Ellis, to explain and answer any questions about the COVID-19 spring and fall mitigation efforts. So if you have any questions, please put them in the comments below, and our team working behind the scenes will be able to answer them for you. And thanks for joining us. For those who are just joining us in right now. All right, since this is both of your first lives and your first opportunities to address a large group of students, I would ask you both to share some brief words with us.
Thank you, President Hall. And I'm Brian Sandoval, the newly minted president of the University of Nevada, Reno. I'm proud and honored to be able to serve in that capacity. I want to tell you, students, this is my first Instagram Live, so I'm excited about that. But in any event, I know there are a lot of questions, particularly around the fitness center and fall break as well as spring break. I'm happy to answer all those and tell you everything that you need to know. But I also want to let you know that I've been walking on campus and meeting many of you, and I'm really proud of the effort that's happening here in terms of people wearing masks and socially distancing and using good hygiene and doing whatever it takes to keep our campus safe. And I will say we've got some new numbers for campus, and 2 weeks ago we had over 100 new cases of positive cases of coronavirus. In the past 2 weeks it's been 50 or less, so we've made some big improvements, and that's because of you all, and I wanted to thank you for that. I know it's been really hard, really hard, and this is a time unlike any other that any of us have experienced in our lifetimes, and I want to let you know that I appreciate your patience, I appreciate your fortitude and strength, and appreciate your support. So with that, I look forward to answering the questions, but want to turn it over to Dr. Ellis.
I would just add that we are extremely fortunate to have President Sandoval joining the leadership of GSA and President Hall here with ASUN. We have a long history of communicating openly the good news, the bad news, the we don't know news with our students, and we have an opportunity to continue that using technology that we know will reach students. It has been a great 2 weeks to have our new president here joining us in this partnership during a very unusual time. So we are very fortunate, and you all know we appreciate what we have when we don't have other things that we take for granted. So let's make this a good Insta Live and the beginning of a great relationship with our new president.
Thank you for those remarks, President Sandoval and Vice President Dr. Ellis. So with the closing of the EL Weekend Fitness Center and the spring and fall COVID-19 mitigation efforts, ASUN has been hearing a number of student rumors, questions, and concerns. Our goal for this conversation today is to address some of those head on. So the first question, students were really upset with the closing of the EL Weekend Fitness Center. What is the likelihood of the gym being open next semester?
Thank you, President Hall. And first I want to say, I will always be honest with you. You may not like the information, but I will always be honest with you, and I'll tell you everything that I know. And I mentioned that we were having problems on campus associated with the Wiegand Center. It was a hot spot. Here we had 66 positive cases that emanated from the fitness center. And, I'll tell you, students should be disappointed, and that was a really hard decision, and I'm very sorry about that. But at the same time, we had to protect the health and safety of all of you. I know I want to congratulate and compliment Dr. Ellis on all the efforts that they made in terms of making sure that it was sanitized, that there was social distancing, and doing everything we had to do. But unfortunately, with 66 cases since the beginning of the term, and 30 of those infectious at the time they visited the fitness center, we had no other choice. To answer your question, we expect and will open the fitness center for the spring semester. We're going to use this break to really make sure that it has been sanitized and cleaned. and that it'll be ready for all of you in the beginning of the spring semester. In the meantime, we know that students have been using the equipment for checkout. I think over $140,000 worth of equipment has been checked out. We have online courses, and even some of the classes, weather permitting, are going to be outside. And so we're doing the best we can. We know that it's disappointing. We know that a lot of you students utilize that for your mental health and well-being. It was a really nice outlet, and it was a very hard decision to make. But at the end of the day, I felt that the health and safety of the students, the faculty, the staff, and everyone on campus had to come first. Shannon, or Dr. Ellis, I don't know if there's anything you wanted to add?
That's the truth.
Thank you. For those of you just joining us, we are here today to address student concerns head-on. So we'll now be transitioning to a conversation about student fees. A number of additional questions ASUN received are centered around student fees. One being the fitness center fee. Will students be receiving a refund or partial refund for $45 they pay each semester?
No, and again, this is not an easy question to answer, because the answer is the $45 per semester fee will not be refunded. Part of the reason for that is what I just explained, is there are a lot of programming that is still available with regard to checking out equipment and online classes and even outdoor classes. The other piece of it is that money is used to help pay the bonds for the building. Back in, I think it was 2013, the students made a decision that they wanted a fitness center, and they made a commitment to pay that student fee to help pay for the construction of that. And to those students, I'm very appreciative, because they paid it forward. And similarly, the students here now are going to pay it forward as well, so that students in the future will have the ability to take care, or to be able to use that. So we know that it's difficult. We also use those fees to pay for new equipment, and I think you purchase new treadmills and other equipment with that. So we want to make it the best experience it can possibly be, and be ready for you when you come back in January. Dr. Ellis, anything else?
I would just add, we are looking at a number of thermal scan operations and additional ultraviolet cleaning components, things we will add to making it a safe place for you to return to in January. And there are expenses related with that to reopen it for you.
Yeah, and I'll just say, the other piece of it is we did invest a lot of money in new filters and cleaning equipment, and some of that money went towards that as well, which weren't expected expenses. But again, not to suggest that it was unsafe before, but the most safe that we can possibly make it, we will.
Thank you both for that. Those alternative solutions to keeping students safe sound really great, so I can't wait to see it this January. So students are also confused about the one-year student fee surcharge, which is $6 per credit for undergraduates and $8 per credit for graduate students. Why are students incurring this charge? Can you explain more about what this charge is for?
Yeah, absolutely. And this was a decision that was made by the regents. You all may or may not know that the Nevada legislature, because of COVID, there's a massive deficit in the state budget. And there were hundreds of millions of dollars that had to be made up for that. And a piece of that was taken from the university. And so there was an $18 million that were taken from the UNR budget to help balance the state budget. And so the regents made the decision as part of to fill that budget hole, to do that student fee increase. And so it was a really, again, I know a difficult decision by the regents. That's tuition decisions are up to them. The other piece of that is that there is a Senate Bill 2 that was passed when the budget cuts were made and the money was used from the university, but that has to do with the Millennium Scholarship. And for those students that are from Nevada, you can go back if you haven't met the GPA requirements and the registration requirements, you can go back and perhaps be eligible for the Millennium Scholarship. So I would really encourage students to look at that, because that was the legislature's effort to help make up that gap associated with the tuition increase. Dr. Ellis, anything else?
I would just add, we met with student leaders on a regular basis and talked through the $18 million budget cut with our students. They were really great at representing the student voice in all this. And they also understood that this was going to be painful for the entire institution to do this very quickly last spring. The charge that undergraduates and graduate students have taken on generates a little more than $2.6 million of that $18 million cut, so it is definitely a help, but it is not being completely absorbed by the students. So we found the greater numbers of budget cuts elsewhere in the institution, all while working to keep the integrity of your experience, especially your academic experience, intact.
And just to add on to that, any student, faculty, or parent could advocate to the Board of Regents or the Nevada Legislature through public comment. And if you need any help with that, please reach out to me or any of your student leaders to get you set up with that process. So moving on to our next question, which is kind of similar, students are asking about tuition. So since in-person classes are no longer available, has there been consideration for discounting tuition?
Thank you, President Hall. I'll start answering the question by first, it wasn't the decision to narrow the presentation, the high flex model, is based on the Washoe County Health District and the governor. And the Washoe County Health District and the governor had made a decision because of COVID to limit the amount of people that could be in one place. So what the university did, I wasn't here at the time, but I'm really complimentary, is maximized what we could do in terms of in-person experience for classes. And that was based on the size of the class and how many students that you could safely, socially distance. And so I think that's something that a lot of universities did not do, and they chose to go exclusively online. To be responsive to the question, President Hall, there won't be any provision for reducing tuition in this regard because the academic mission is still being met. That there has to be a predictive funding model so that we can balance the budget to make sure that all of you have the experience they need. There is something that you should know, though, that the distance learning fees for classes that were moved to online exclusively were eliminated. So that came out to $34 per credit for students. And if a student takes 15 credits, that's a savings of over $500. So again, there really was an effort to balance things. We understand that those extra fees are a hardship, and there's a constant balance in terms of preserving that academic mission so that you get a maximized college experience based on the restrictions that we have.
We also incurred $500,000 over the summer to build a technology infrastructure in the classrooms around campus to boost the experience you were having remotely and in the high flex model. Students did not have to absorb that cost, and then faculty took advantage of the summer months to learn more about designing a more impactful and effective learning environment in a high flex and a remote model. And that was an investment that we made in our faculty, and I know students have told me their experiences online this fall are very different from having to do it quite suddenly last March. And so we're glad that's paying off for students.
Thank you both for those answers. So really quickly, I'm going to briefly talk about the ASUN $6.10 credit surcharge. And so I just wanted students to know that ASUN is redirecting our budget and applying this to student needs and assistance. And through the upcoming weeks, financial insecurity is a what's the word? It's a priority. There we go. Thank you. A priority for us at ASUN, and we will be allocating hundreds of thousands of dollars back to students through financial assistance. So you can wait on that for your money to be going directly back to you. And so transitioning to the next set of questions, a number of students have expressed concern around employment and financial insecurity directly resulting from the impacts of this pandemic. Can you guys tell us about some of the opportunities available on campus for students right now?
No, of course, and President Hall, I think this is an opportunity to thank you for your leadership and all the members of the Student Senate and everyone involved with the ASUN. They're doing a great job in a really difficult time. But there are still many job opportunities on campus. we have early voting at Lawler Event Center, and we need the assistance of students there, paid assistance. So if you're looking for an opportunity to work, there's an opportunity there. For the sporting events that are coming up, and we play University of Wyoming this Saturday. Go Pack! Beat the Cowboys. But in any event, there are student opportunities there to work and assist there. There are several offices all over campus that have vacancies, and so I really encourage everyone to go online and see what the opportunities are, and hopefully help with that issue, because again, I know it's a hard time for everybody. We love to keep students employed. It's a great opportunity to work on campus.
ASUN has a number of student employment positions. There are a number of openings through Workday and the Career Studio. I went online this morning to see what you had available. They're great paying jobs. We also need to hire 200 COVID tracers in the county, and they're very interested in hiring our students. I think in addition to what President Hall has led the initiatives around to help students, we were really pleased to give out $7.2 million in CARES funds to 9,000 students, med students, grad students, and primarily undergrad students last spring. That came from the federal government in recognition of the dire straits students were in. That helped a lot of you, I know, and we held a little bit back that we were able to award this summer, but that money went fast, so we knew what your needs were. Please take advantage of PAC provisions, which ASUN runs in the Center for Student Engagement. It's there for you. We want you to use it so that you understand the assistance that peers are giving to peers. We're always wanting to help students with the emergency funds that ASUN and private donors continue to fund for students in dire straits, and this certainly qualifies for that. And the Dean of Students Office, located in Clark Administration, is the central point for administering those funds. It can be a small amount, it can be a bigger amount, there are no parameters that you should feel restricted by, because if we can't help you there, we know who can help you.
Thank you, Vice President Ellis. And just to reiterate, if you need any assistance with finding those positions or allocating or finding those funds, please just reach out to your student leaders and we will be more than happy to help you. We're now going to move on to questions about academics. Many students are requesting satisfactory and unsatisfactory grading to be implemented. Is this an option for the fall of 2020 or spring 2021?
No, thank you, President Hall, for the question. And I've consulted with faculty and consulted with the deans, consulted with Dr. Ellis, and I know that was a policy that was adopted in the spring semester when this happened, like that, and it was a response and a good response to what happened to the student experience. But having talked with them, I think students need to understand that satisfactory, unsatisfactory could really affect your ability to get into graduate school, any type of graduate school, to get up into an upper division program, because a lot of these schools will look at a GPA and they will not accept a satisfactory or unsatisfactory. So I think that's really important to know, and I know that when I spoke with faculty and spoke with the deans, they have your best interests in mind. And again, everybody appreciates and understands how hard it is for all of you in terms of what it is and the change that has happened. But they also want to protect the integrity of your academic record. And so the decision has been made not to go to satisfactory, unsatisfactory. There is the ability to take the class over again and replace the grade, and that's an opportunity too. And if you are having a hard time, I would really encourage you to either go to your professor or go to your department to get some advice and see what your options are.
We're looking at the academic recovery policies. The president just talked about one. Typically, we've had freshman forgiveness to take a class over, and we're looking at expanding that to upper class 300 and 400 level. If you feel like you really do need to take it over again, not just because you didn't get the grade you wanted, but because you didn't feel you got the foundational components for moving on to licensure or moving up to other classes that require the course you're in right now. And you guys are a good gauge of, am I really grasping this, and should I move forward or should I take this over again? We've always had a policy for you to appeal your grade. That's still in place. We've always had a policy that if you need to take an incomplete, you can do that and finish up the work, especially if students become ill or other circumstances get in their way. You don't have to retake the class, but you can take the incomplete and complete it at a time that works for you. So the academic recovery models are there to help you. Some have already been in place, some we're expanding. Please ask for help. Your academic advisors, your tutoring center, your math and writing center have a lot of virtual and in-person opportunities to help you. There are great tutorials on our webpage for the university about how to learn remotely. We've refined them. We have a lot more tips and resources for you, just like we did for faculty. Watch them. It helps, it walks you through using Proctorio for your exams. There's so much on our website to help students. Just go to the Student Resources button.
Thank you both once again for those answers. We're now going to transition the conversation to the university experience. So ASUN is hearing students who are thinking about transferring to their local state school or even a community college closer to home until campus life can resume. What would you say to students who are questioning the value of staying at the university?
So the first thing I would say is please stay. This is an incredible university. It is an amazing school with an amazing student body. And so we know, again, I know it's a really hard time, but we're all very proud of being a member of the PAC. We're getting some really encouraging numbers with regard to the residence halls. I think it's up to 80% of those surveyed are going to come back. So that should hopefully give you some peace of mind that there is going to be a lot of activity on campus. You know, me having spoken with several students on campus, you know, they understand and you understand that the university again has maximized what we can do. But we want to see you continue your education here. We're going to be promoting new programs, and frankly, we need some input from you. What would you like to see? What kind of programming would you like to see that would encourage you to, you know, have more activities on campus? So we'd appreciate that input from you, Dr. Ellis. I guess one other thing I'd like to say is everything's going to be open. You know, the Knowledge Center is going to be open. The Fitness Center is going to be open. The Pennington, all of the the resources for the students are going to be available to all of you. The restaurants are going to be open, all of that. So again, we will be in the HighFlex system again, the same model that we are in this semester. There were some rumors that we were going online exclusively. That is not true. We're going to have the same system we have now. Dr. Ellis.
I would just add, we talked to universities across the country about what their plans were for this fall, and the vast majority did not take the efforts that your university took to try and create an in-person experience for those of you who wanted it. I'm very proud that we were committed to working on a set of programs and offerings for you, even if all your classes ended up being remote. There is a vibrant campus life on here. Our student leaders are here. People are enjoying the quad. Student groups are meeting in the student union. Yoga classes are happening out on the green lawns in front of the Knowledge Center. People are attending career fairs and hybrid models of things in person and online. And so it's not the same. We're not ever going to tell you that. But there is a vibrant life. There are things going on here. People are studying in the library, having study groups in the residence halls. And so this was our goal, and to do it as safely as possible. The president talked about, here were the guidelines that we had to adhere to from health authorities. So we maxed them out as much as we could, keeping your safety in mind, but also giving to those of you who wanted it an in-person experience. And so I'm very proud of what we have committed to and what we're working with, and we We want you to come back next spring. I think you'd be missing out.
And just to echo what President Sandoval and Vice President Dr. Ellis said, I, as a student, would recommend you to stay as well. I know that we're in trying times right now, but I don't think that it's permanent. So throughout your term here at the university, things will get better and it will go back to somewhat normalcy, not exactly what's normal. And I just wanted to offer an invitation to you students of some current events that we have going on here at ASUN and just around campus. And you can learn about these events on guidebook, events.unr.edu, or on just our social media. So I encourage you to follow Nevada ASUN. And some upcoming ASUN events that we have are Halloween Trivia Night this Thursday. We have Stories from the Pack, which are stories that scare us about this university on October 29th. We have student-specific events such as Paint the End, which is also on Gift Pulse, which is our volunteering app here at the university. And then we also have Pack Pods coming up, which are little pods that you can meet different people about different interests with different student groups on campus. So there are a lot of different opportunities still to be engaged on this university, and I really thank our admin for working very hard to keep us safe and to try to emphasize some kind of high flex model to keep us engaged. So there are always those opportunities, and if you ever need me to reiterate this, please just reach out to me or any student leader. So, is there anything you both would like to add before we wrap up here?
No, I would just like to say we need you. We will do everything we can for you to make this the best experience that we possibly can. And I agree with President Hall. Things are going to get better, and as they get better, we'll be able to adjust and make it better for all of you. So if you're wondering whether you're going to come back, from the bottom of my heart, please come back. We want you to be here. We want you to be proud of our university and proud that you attended here and be a member of this great, great Wolfpack. Dr. Ellis.
I can't say it any better than that. We miss you, those of you who are remote. We promise we're keeping things intact for you, so when you make the choice to come back, you will love it.
I wanted to say thank you all for joining this live, and thank you President Sandoval, and thank you Dr. Vice President Ellis for joining this live, and have a great day.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Tom. Great job.
Thanks, Tom.
Of course.